you're constantly witnessing, obviously, terror. You're constantly witnessing, the effects of this kind of warfare. You're also getting a front seat into the hypocrisy and, the absurdity of so much of the theatrics, right?
It's theater. That's exactly right.
You think about sort of what Nixon was, even trying to do with the war on drugs. And in many cases, it did. It became a war on Black people, on brown people, And so what you're seeing is this sort of downstream effect of us sort of grandstanding, right? And I'm not just thinking about it in terms of this. I think you probably see that everywhere. How do you, as a human being, deal with kind of living in that hypocrisy that you see in every aspect of this work?
I think people look at the work that I do and think, boy, she must really have a depressing view of the world. But it's actually so not the case. I think it's just the fact that I'm spending so much time with people that we consider the bad guys, right? Mm-hmm. But I can still find elements of redemption and relatability with all of them has really actually given me a very positive view of the world. And it's not just me, my team. We spend time with the worst of the worst, right? And we can still connect on a human level. Again, not condoning what they do whatsoever, but the fact that there can still be human connections, then that shows me that these aren't people that are completely irredeemable, right? In many ways, I actually find more hope, more equality in the Black market than I do many times in the legal market, as crazy as this is to say.
Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to leave the viewers with any, in the audience with any sort of insight from seeing the edges of the 1/3 of the world that lives in the shadows.
Yeah, I think it's this idea of redemption and relatability, right? That even in the edges of our society that we can still find people who are redeemable and relatable. And that is really, I think, the point of the work that I do. And I also hope that they're really great conversation starters for all of us about the lives we lead and what we choose to do with them. We live at a time of epic inequality, unheard of inequality, where 10% of the world lives with under $1 a day, under the poverty line. And many of the choices they make is because of the lack of opportunities. So we should all look at ourselves and what are we doing with the privileges and the opportunities that we've been given in this world.
Thank you so much. And where can people find out all the things, obviously, about The Hidden Third and anything else you're doing?
Yeah, so the podcast is out there on every podcast platform. It's also out there on YouTube, called The Hidden Third. And my show on Nat Geo is called Trafficked. You can watch it on Disney Plus or Hulu. And I'm also working on a few other projects.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mariana.
Thank you, guys.
I just wanted to clarify, I don't tend to sort of demonize. I mean, the Anna Delvey, that case is, incredibly complicated. And I also, I didn't mean to sort of throw out the sociopathic, moniker as a condemnation. What I'm saying is I think that there's a deep pathology to people like that who can lead, it's not even a double life, who can lead a life like that and be so immersed in this story that you create. What I'm interested in is, Mariana's dealing with people who have to do this for a living, or in many cases are forced to do this for a living. What is going on, right, in the manufacturing of this kind of reality? And what I've learned from the shows that I've watched is that it's incredibly complicated as a scammer to be keeping track, especially in romance scams of all these different people. You got to know this one's, like, they learn your family members, they learn everything about you. And there's sort of like files that they keep to keep track because they're often speaking to numerous people at the same time. That's just my last note on romance scams. But when I go back to, the beginning of this episode, it's unbelievable. The people that she's encountering, the way that she's encountering them. And also there is something kind of hopeful, right, about her belief that human to human contact and really connecting with people helps us understand some of the systems that have been put in place that get us to these places.
That's what impacts me the most, is thinking about the systems, especially when we talk about the guns going down to Mexico, and none of the problems that we see are isolated, right? We're all part of a larger system. And so understanding the influences and how she really does connect with people. And once people see some of the impacts or are given an opportunity to find another path, how often they take it.
And I think also, you know, I kept thinking of the word humbling, like how humbling it is for her to do this work and how humbling it is for us to be shown, right, the realities of this. So many people do not want to know about this. Really, so many people do not want to think about this. They don't want to go there. It's depressing. It's hard. But I think that there has to be some sort of hope for what this kind of journalism also can teach us, not just about the criminals and the people behind these black and gray markets, but it teaches us about us and where our vulnerability lies.
Yes, and very practically, I think we need to be aware, especially as AI proliferates and some of the scamming technology becomes more sophisticated. People are vulnerable. I was talking with someone locally the other day, and I was telling him about pig butchering and this intensity of the scams that are happening. And he's like, oh yeah, my mom lost $12,000. She's a woman in her 70s.